How do you sort out the so-called jargon from real-world practices that work? Do the members of your organization find some business or technology advice utterly confusing? Welcome to Real Talk with Sam Holcman. In this program, we set the record straight, and in terms that business people and technology people can understand. Now, here is your host, Sam Holcman.
Welcome to this edition of Real Talk. I'm Sam Holcman. Thanks for joining me for this particular broadcast. And this particular broadcast is around a topic I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with on an almost daily basis. And that, of course, is artificial intelligence. No one is sure whether or not this is hype or whether it's going to revolutionize the universe. There's opinions all over the place. And, of course, if you look at dollars spent, people are saying it's going to solve all sorts of things. And maybe that's the case. I have no argument with that. However, for those of you who have been listening to this broadcast, I do a lot of thinking, and sometimes that thinking gets me into trouble, frankly, with the popular opinions that are out there on various sources that are, of course, unvetted, and some of them are vetted. And so I'm telling you that up front. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, if you've been listening to any of my broadcasts, you know there's a lot of skepticism on my side. Not because of the technology side. Let me repeat. Not because of the technology side. Not because of the processing speed side. But the data side. So that brings me to this particular broadcast. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal by the CEO and chairman of Salesforce. I think most of you know Salesforce, a very, very popular tool out there in the software universe. I did a download of the article. I am a subscriber to the Wall Street Journal. By the way, for those of you that are wondering, do I steal intellectual property? The answer is no, which is, of course, one of the issues with artificial intelligence that we all know about. There's 927 words in this particular article, 927 words. Buried in paragraph 4 are 9 key words. Now, if you look at 9 into 927, you're talking approximately 1% of the words that I'm going to be talking about here. And I'm going to read these directly to you. The title of this article is Say Hello to Your New Colleague, the AI Agent. Say hello to your new colleague, the AI Agent. Paragraph 4, the 9 words. The true value of AI is in the data. I'm going to repeat that. The true value of AI is in the data. Is anybody paying attention? I've been trying to, in my own way, continually, almost on a weekly basis or semi-weekly basis in these broadcasts, get people to recognize it's about the data. Yes, we're processing data at incredible speeds, and that's where these new chips come in and all these things that you're hearing about and the gazillions of dollars that are being spent. But as the old phrase goes, garbage in, garbage out. And yet we don't spend time recognizing, again, 1% of the words in this article are about, as it says here, by the individual that wrote the article, the true value of AI is in the data. How much money is being spent on data? Well, as we all know, there are a lot of people out there that believe that public data is going to solve all of this stuff. N-O capital in both letters. Capital N, capital O, no. Large language models are being polluted on a minute-by-minute basis. And as I've pointed out in other broadcasts, there are 4 types of data that these AI engines train on. The first is what I refer to as unvetted stuff. I can't use a different word in these particular broadcasts. Unvetted stuff, whether it's on the internet, whether it's publications or wherever it is. It's just stuff that's out there. No provenance, don't know where it comes from, have no idea about anything there at all. AI engines are being trained on that, of course. Group number 2, copyrighted or trademarked information. Translate, intellectual property theft. This is, of course, what drives me and others crazy. You can't call it anything else. Excuse me for my emotions here. Intellectual property theft. Now, I'm of the age where in the good old days, I used to go to these physical buildings called libraries, and there were photocopy machines in the library. And there was a warning sign above the photocopy machine that said, do not copy anything, even though you put a quarter in there to make a photocopy of something, if it has copyright or trademark. It's illegal. It is against the law. You going to jail. Well, what the heck is happening now? So, without emotion now, category number 2 is intellectual property theft. And yes, these AI engines are being trained on it. But here's the big but, ladies and gentlemen. There's 2 other categories that the AI engines are not being trained on. And that's where these 9 little words, the true value of AI is in the data, comes to play here. Category number 3 is what we call equal exchange of information. What does that mean? If somebody goes to one of our websites, either the Enterprise Architecture Center of Excellence or the Business Architecture Center of Excellence, and is looking for a particular article, we ask for one piece of information, and that is your email. If you put a false email in there, the article isn't sent to you because we send you something through the internet. Now, that's all we ask for. So if you give us a false piece of information, you don't get it. We call that, at a minimum, an equal exchange of information. It's a small, in quotes, price to pay, we believe, for an equal exchange of information. And of course, you have opt-out rights and everything else on our website. It's all very public there. Push this button and you're off our list. It goes into our data structure and it says through our technology, don't send anything to this individual because they don't want to be on your list. But we do require an equal exchange so we know where this stuff is going. So it's not going to these unvetted, inappropriate, and intellectual property theft organizations that are using this stuff without compensation. Now, what's category number 4? The easiest way to phrase it is best practices. Let me be very, very straight here with everybody. Please think about this. Nobody, no organization, no individual is going to take their best practices and put it out on the internet for public consumption. Why would we believe that anybody would do that? So please remember, if you are using these AI engines, you are not going to get best practices. You're going to get published practices or intellectual property theft practices or unvetted practices. You're not going to get the good stuff. Let me repeat these 9 words again. The true value of AI is in the data. Let's all start paying attention.
Thank you for tuning into Real Talk. Be sure to join your host, Sam Holcman, again for another edition of our program. We'll have more real topics of discussion then.